Hello, my name is Katie and welcome to my channel Duckpotatoe's World. This is my monthly video vlog, Created to Create, where we talk about mostly what I've been knitting and knitting related activities. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. I know you have a whole lot of choices of things you could be watching, and I really appreciate that you've decided to spend some time with me this evening. So this is episode 21, our February episode. I have been pretty busy in January, so I have some fun things to show you, and I've got some fun things planned. So gather around, get your drink. Yes, this might be Diet Coke. I also have my water. You know, one for each hand, right? Get your knitting, get your crochet, get whatever crafty thing you like to do while you hang out with me on YouTube, and let's get started. The first thing I'm going to talk about is what I'm wearing. So I am wearing my Enchanted Forest shawl by Hot Springs Fiber Company in the yarn that I dyed myself with my friend Tracy, I think last February. Yeah, last February. So I dyed this yarn a year ago. I haven't had the shawl quite that long. I didn't finish it that long ago. But I am having like a good shawl week. So I put this shawl on Friday because it was actually quite cold Friday. And I put it on and I put my shawl pin on and I really loved the way it draped and laid and I was so excited. So I've been wearing it almost every day since because I don't want to take the shawl pin out because I like the way it looks. And I don't always like the way my shawls drape. Sometimes I never do get it the way I like and I wind up just wearing it anyway. But this time I was really happy with the way it fell. So I wore it Friday night to a meeting with my t-shirt and jeans. I wore it to church on Sunday as like the main color of my outfit. I wore it, I wore it Saturday. I tried to wear it today, but today it got back up in the 60s. So it's East Texas. I'm wearing it now because I'm still really proud of where the shawl pin is and how it drapes, and I'm showing it off on YouTube. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I'm also wearing knitted socks. I've been wearing knitted socks for months now. I almost never wear any other kind of socks. But I'm not going to do any acrobats to show you my knitted socks. You can just trust me. If you watched my State of the Knitter address back in January, then you will know that I have plenty of knitted socks. I showed off my sock box. And yeah, so we don't need to see that. You guys have seen that before. I have been very busy in January. I kind of started off, I finished most of the things I had going at the end of 2023. I finished with the exception of my long-term projects that are going on for years and their blankets and things like that. But I had finished kind of everything. And I got into this weird funk where I either knit a project that took me 3 days or I didn't feel like knitting that much. So I read a lot. Read a lot of Kathleen Fuller's books. I've read almost all of her Amish romance novels at this point. There's still a few I haven't read yet, but I read a lot of books. I kind of lied around the house in my pajamas when school was out. In fact, one day my 10-year-old crawled up on the couch next to me and he cuddled all up close to me, and I let him lay there next to me for a few minutes, and he says, "Mom," and I said, "Yeah, honey." He says, "Are you feeling okay?" And I said, "Yeah, baby, I feel fine. Why?" And he says, "'Cause you didn't do anything today." So that was pretty funny. I was not sick. I just was taking a break, kind of relaxing, which was really nice. I read a lot of books. I baked a lot of sourdough bread. Been having a lot of fun. We've tried some new things. We made sourdough pizza crust, which was a huge hit. Everybody loved that. That we'll have to do again. And then also just lots of regular loaves. I make sandwich loaves out of discard, and I make bread like the round traditional bowl style loaf. So I've been making tons of bread, but I did some knitting too, and that is what you would like to hear about. So I'm going to show you. I did finish my husband's Tahoe hooded cowl. So let's see, I have a stitch marker in this somewhere to show where I was when I worked on it last. Woo! Let's see if I can find this stitch marker. I know it's in here somewhere because last month I was just working on it. All right, well, there it is. So I had gotten, this is the cast on edge here. I had knit through here when I podcasted last, and since then I have finished it. So it is done. My husband did feel like it was too loose around his face, so we just threaded, sorry, I'm making a very hot mess of this. We just threaded a piece of grosgrain ribbon around the cast on edge of the shawl where the the tie cords come out the back, and I put one of those needle keepers that I bought that are actually, you know, tie cord holders. I put one of those on there, and it's in the back of his head, and he can pull the cowl up and just tighten it, and it stays up over his nose, and he's happy. So he has been wearing this when it has been cold enough, which hasn't been all that often, but it has been cold enough some. So that is his. It's all kinds of folded funny now, but here we go. We'll fix it. It's not difficult to fold. I just keep unfolding it. There you go. So you can kind of see how it goes. This is the cowl, and this is the hood that goes over your head. And here's the tie in the back of the cowl so he can pull it tight around his nose. Well, of course, they're his and hers cowls, so that was his. And then I also knit and finished my own. Now I added a beaded tassel to the back. I just happened to have turquoise beads. I had bought some beads for my Happy and You Gnome It hat from, I think it's called Rich Mountain. I'll put the name of the place I order beads from up here for you. But they sent me just a string of random shaped turquoise beads free with my order, and they were exactly what I needed for this tassel. And I will put this one on for you because I'm very proud of it. But yeah. It fits. I love it. It's very warm. I've worn it a couple of times. We did have some weather like down in the 30s. I think it even got under the 30s for a little while. So I was very happy to have it. It was quite cold. In fact, we were out playing putt-putt golf with my friend's son for his birthday, and it was like 20 degrees and windy and rainy. So my cowl was very, very useful. Now both of those were knit from the massive amounts of Berroco Vintage yarn that I had bought at the Black Friday sale from Hot Springs Fiber Company. I think each one of them took, I want to say 800 yards or so, 900 yards, somewhere in there. So they do eat up yarn, but they're knit on size 13 needles, and the yarn is held triple. So it's a yarn eater, but boy, it's warm and it's a fast knit. I knit both of those in 2 or 3 days. Well, each one took 2 or 3 days. So that was my Tahoe hooded cowls by Nutty Pattern Designs. Her pattern is available on Etsy if you're interested. And because it was so cold, we even got a little bit of snow, I realized that we have a dearth of mittens in this house. For a home of knitters, I have hats and scarves aplenty, but nobody had mittens, so I decided to design and knit a mitten that complements my cowl. So these are MrsDuckpotatoe's actually Mr. and Mrs. Duckpotatoes, Scrap Happy Mittens. They coordinate with the cowl, and I put a little buttonhole in the pattern so that you can access your smart device. And I have written this pattern up. The buttonhole can go in the left hand or the right hand. And not only do I have a smaller size, but I have a Mr. Duckpotato size. His are really much bigger than mine. But yeah, so he's got a pair too. They match our cowls. They're knit very much the same way, 3 strands of worsted weight held triple on size 11 and 13 needles. But yeah, I will probably have that pattern available in my Ravelry store soon. I had kind of thought I would make a pair of mittens that are hooded, but it turns out I don't want to. I started it and I had issues with it, and I probably could figure it out, but I have those mittens and they're warm and cozy and they work well, and I'm just not feeling very motivated to figure out a hooded version. So I decided I didn't have to. So those also only took the mittens, I think I knit a mitten in a day. So maybe 2 days per pair. They're very fast. That's one of the nice things about knitting on those big, huge honkin' needles. And then I did also finish one more thing. So I made a hat for my husband several years ago, and I cannot remember the name of this pattern, but I'll put it on the screen. But I made this for him, and I decided to make him, he wanted a pair of fingerless mitts to go with it. So I knit him I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but Kærlig by Ysolda Teague. This is a pattern on Ravelry that you can purchase. And what we did was I knit it on worsted yarn, and I just used the smallest size. And it fits my husband. It's actually a little bit big for me. I would probably go down a needle size if I were going to keep them for myself. But these fit my husband's hands just fine. He likes them. He wears them with the hat. You can definitely see the difference in the yarn from the hat that he's had for years and has been wearing, and the mittens that he's had for less than a month. But they match, and I love them. If you are interested in learning how to knit the Kærlig mittens in worsted weight yarn, I am actually going to be teaching a class in February at Hot Springs Fiber Company. It will be a 2-day class, I believe, February 23rd and 24th. So you should be able to sign up for that class in Arkansas if you are interested in attending that. I'm going to knit some more of those mittens. I really enjoy knitting them. I knit a pair, pardon me for a moment, I got hair in my face. Woo, okay. I knit a pair as a shop sample for Hot Springs Fiber Company a couple of months ago when I was visiting Tracy, and I knit this pair for my husband, and I'm going to knit another pair for myself because I want a pair. But yeah, I like the pattern. It's fun. It's constructed different than any other mittens I've had. You cast on, you knit them, and then you bind off the thumb, and that's it. There's no seaming, very few ends to weave in, and it's a really well thought out and fun pattern. So hopefully I'll get to see some of you guys at that class. Let's see, what else did I do? I think that's all of my finished objects. I do have a couple of whips that are almost finished objects. I really wanted to finish them, but we ran into some trouble. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is my Batad by Stephen West. And this one project is one that actually was a gift from my mother. So she bought the solar system kit from Destination Yarns, and she knit her Batad, and I've put a picture of it before when she finished hers. And then she had enough left over, she thought, for a whole nother version of it. So she gave it to me, and I decided that because I like Stephen West's Mohair Dare, we added in the mohair. So I have the Destination Yarn Solar System kit, as well as the Silver Shiny Base Noir, which is the black. But I am holding mine, this is the Noir, but I'm holding mine double with Lanagato, Lanagato Silk Mohair Luxe. And the Destination yarn is fairly shiny. I mean, it has some stellina in it, but the Lanagato is really shiny. So it really upped the shiny factor. I don't know how well the camera is picking that up, but it's super, super shiny. However, I ran out of the Noir halfway between Neptune and Pluto, so I was very close to being done when I ran out of yarn. And it took me about 8 days of knitting to get from the sun to just past Neptune. And it was kind of a blessing that I ran out of yarn because I was so ready to move on to a different project, but I was trying so hard to complete this before I started something new. So I had to stop and order more yarn, and that gave me an excuse to cast on something else, which I did. But in the meantime, this is going beautifully well. This first circle here is the sun, and this is done in Hot Springs Fiber Company's Seriously Sparkle sock yarn that I custom dyed with Tracy when I was at her shop last time. And then from here I have Destination Yarn Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And like I said, I ran out of the Silver Shiny Noir when I was halfway between Neptune and Pluto. So I am very excited to finish this. It has been so much fun. I have been carrying it around in my Knit Dallas large bag, which I love this bag. And I have put the main yarns in the small version and just tucked it in here, and it's been great. I can't wait to finish this. I will be able to show it to you next month, I'm sure, because I did get my second skein of yarn, obviously. Here it is. I literally got it in the mail today, and I have wound it, but I haven't worked on the project anymore since I ran out of yarn, which was only, I think I ran out of yarn Saturday. I had a knitting group that we were knitting together, and I knit Saturday on it until I ran out of yarn. So the project I got to cast on, because I ran out of yarn on that one, and it was like a good reason to get to cast on something new, because for some reason I felt like I needed permission, is also very exciting. So last February, my husband purchased for me from Mountain Meadow Wool a kit, and we saw it advertised on Facebook. I'd actually never heard of Mountain Meadow wool, but it is a Valentine themed cowl. It has little hearts all around it, and we bought it like February 9th, and I think it came in the mail right before Valentine's Day, but it's certainly not in enough time for me to knit the cowl. And so it's been sitting in my stash, in my queue, waiting to get picked up, and I picked it up on Saturday when my when I ran out of space, and I am almost done. I am loving this cowl. So this is the Warm Heart Cowl by Hannah Miller, and it is a Mountain Meadow wool kit. I think you can just get the pattern on Ravelry if you just want the pattern, or you can get the kit. The base is called Cody. It's 100% wool from Wyoming. I believe that everything is done in the USA in Wyoming. Like the sheep are there and the wool is milled there and it's dyed there. I might be wrong on that, but that was the understanding I had. And the wool is a sport weight wool, and I love it. It's in berry, natural, and rose. And it's one of the few things I've picked up, and I'm just following the pattern. I didn't change anything. Just doing the kit the way it says. I've really, really liked it. I'm almost done with the last heart section, and then you'll repeat the lace, and then that's it. So I'm like 75% of the way done or more. Very, very nearly done. And I have this cute little heart stitch marker that I had to put on there. So my goal was to finish it before Valentine's Day, which will definitely not be a problem. Now my new goal is to finish it tomorrow, because I want to block it and wear it, because this weekend I want to have it. So that's what's going on with this. It's a very fun project. And it's color work. You guys, I can knit cables and lace 6 ways from Sunday, all day, backwards and forwards and upside down and standing on my head. Like those things, I make mistakes. I might have to frog them, but I can do them. I can do brioche. It's harder, but I can do it. Color work, for some reason, is so hard for me, and it's really funny because I know a lot of people who knit color work and find it very easy because it's mostly just knit, especially in the round. There's not a lot of purling or a lot of fancy needlework. It's just knitting. But when you put a second color in my left hand, my brain just, I don't know, freaks out, seizes up. I can't imagine what it does. But for some reason, color work is a very big challenge for me, and I'm so proud of this. I love it. I've been posting it all over Instagram. Look at my floats. Aren't they gorgeous? Let's see if we can get them real good. Look, I'm very, very, very proud of it. So, yep. My friend Faith always tells me that you can do hard things, and she's right. You just have to try. I definitely find I'll be knitting along and realize I forgot to change colors, and I've been knitting in the same color for half a row. I've had to back up several times because of that. Or I'll be carrying my floats one way on a round, and then halfway through the round I start putting the floats in a different place, and then I get confused and have to back up. It has not been perfect, but it has been good. And the kit came with this cute little bag. I always love a little bag. But yeah, so Hey, this is Editing Katie. I did forget to show one other project that did get worked on this month. Back when school first started in January, I didn't really have the mental brain power or energy to start a new project right away. So I did put 5 squares onto my Knit Your Bits scrap blanket, and I wanted to show that. Some months I don't work on this at all, and some months I work on it quite a bit. So you guys haven't seen this in a while, but I did put a little work into this. But yeah. So I am not the only one that has been knitting. MrDuckpotatoe has been working very hard on his Tahoe hooded cowl for our younger middle child. And I'm going to go see if he wants to hop in and show that off for just a second.
Sit down, smile, and take a deep breath, my wife says. Okay. Hi guys, I am not Mrs. Duckpotatoe, obviously. She wanted me to step in here for a second and tell you about my project. It is the Tahoe hooded cowl teen size. My son Joseph saw Asher, Katie, and myself wearing one of these and said he wanted one, and Katie thought it would be a great next project, from washcloths to knitting with 3 strands of yarn at once, learning to purl and knit, and the adding to, what is that called again? Increasing. So anyways, here's my project. It's coming along pretty good. There's one or two little oopses along the way, but that's okay. It's for a teenager that he's probably going to grow out of or lose it or get dirty anyways. But for now, it's got a blue, gray, green, and then a color changing from black to tan, brown, red or orangish brown to tan, and then back again. So yeah, that's my project. I am starting the hood now, and hopefully in the next week or so I'll have it done. That's all. So thanks and have a good night.
Yeah, he is doing so well with his knitting. I am so proud of him. He does not have nearly as much time to knit as I do, because I can knit while I homeschool my boys, that while they read to me, and while we do different things throughout the day. But he's pretty much limited to knitting when he gets off work in the evening while he watches TV, and that's not a huge chunk of his day. So he picks it up and works on it steadily, and I know he says there's mistakes in it, but they're really few and far between. He's doing a great job. So yay for him. And my son cracks me up because he asks me every day if it's done yet, because he knows that I knit. The two that I made each took me about 3 days each. And so it cracks me up every day going, is my cowl done? Is my cowl done? I was like, baby, your dad is just learning. He's working on it. But it's going really well. Let's see, that will bring us to Blanket of Knowledge. So I was so proud of myself because last month in December, I had finished the whole month and the border, and that's still where we're at. So I have not done anything new since you saw it in December. I did do the video for the January block, and I used some leftover yarn from earlier for that block. And so here I can show you, this is the January pattern, but it is in the November color. I don't yet have the Cabin in the Woods color for January. Tracy had pneumonia, and so I know the boxes are late. My boxes are late too this month. I'm sure I'll get it soon, and in fact I'll probably get it this weekend. But I like, in my head, for some reason, I have to do my block version before I can start my strip version. And I think it's because I'm doing both, that just doing the shorter blocks helps like cement the pattern in my head. And then when I do the strip, I don't make nearly as many mistakes. And since this is 300 stitches and this is like 50 some odd, I would much rather get the hang of it with blocks and then do my strip second. And I actually do have my January color, which is called Day's End, and which is beautiful. But I just didn't want to do the January pattern until I had done the Cabin in the Woods January. So I haven't really worked on it at all. So I'll probably spend most of February finishing my January blanket of knowledge. But I do still love the blanket. It is the perfect length right now that when you work on it, it keeps you warm. It's like a good lap blanket size. So that is lovely. And I still love the project. I just like to do it. I can be a little OCD and a little funny about things sometimes. I want to do things the way I always do them. So I always do Cabin in the Woods blocks first and then my strip. And for some reason, I can't bring myself to do the strip first, even though I have the yarn for it. I know it's silly. I'll tell you something about me and you can laugh, okay? We used to go to a mall in South Tyler, and we would enter the mall. Usually I would enter the mall from one entrance, and then I would go back out the same entrance, because that's where you park, right? Well, for some reason we were in 2 different cars, or I had been brought there by a friend. I can't remember the exact situation, but we entered the mall through one entrance, walked the length of the mall, and then we had to exit the mall through the other end of the mall, and it was hard. Like, I had to make myself do it. It drove me crazy because it felt wrong. And so I have a lot of weird little, we'll call them quirks. I bet you guys have quirks. If you have quirks, comment below and tell me about the little weird things that bother you, okay? So I don't like to do things out of order or out of the order my brain says this is the order and I like to stick to it. I don't know. I don't think I'm OCD or anything like that. My brain gets an idea that things go a certain way and I don't like to deviate from that if I don't have to. And I don't have to deviate from that. I can wait till my January cabin in the woods color comes and then I can knit my blocks and then I can knit my strip and it'll be fine. That's one lovely thing about knitting. There's no knitting police. Nobody is going to come to my door and say, hey, why haven't you done this? So I can do it at my own pace, which I love. And that would bring us to acquisitions. I showed you the yarn that I got for the January Blanket of Knowledge for Enchanted. I do have that. I just am still waiting for the cabin in the woods. And I've gotten a few other balls of yarn. So obviously I have gotten a new ball of the Silver Shiny Noir. I still don't know how you say that. Noir, N-O-I-R. I don't really count that because I just needed it to finish my batad. And it's really frustrating. I think I'm going to use maybe 10, 15 grams of it. But you know, hey, you got to have it, you got to have it. I can't finish the shawl without it. So I bought 100 grams of yarn so I could finish 10 or 15 grams on my shawl. That's okay. So I did buy that. And then if you watched last month, I am going to be working on a set of socks that are animal, like sleeper socks. You wouldn't wear them in your shoe because they might have arms and legs and stuff. But members of my family each picked out a different animal and I am going to knit the different animals. And I had gotten most of that yarn from Knit Picks during their Black Friday sale, but they were out of a couple of things. So those things have come in. I have a black and white and guppy in Stroll from Knit Picks. And I think I also bought some Knit Picks gloss lace. I bought 2 hanks of that in black. And I wanted to buy some in natural, but that actually wound up being quite the hunt. Knit Picks doesn't appear to sell the undyed version or any white or ivory version of that anymore. So I got on Ravelry and tried to find people who showed it for sale in their stash. I could only find 2. I emailed them both. One of them responded she had used hers up. The other one never did respond. So then I got on the Ravelry group for Knit Picks lovers and asked for if anyone had any they would be willing to part with there. And I didn't get an answer at first. So then it occurred to me I should check Etsy because I didn't think to look there. So I looked on Etsy and I did find what I needed and I have bought it and it is on its way. And then of course, like 3 days after I buy that, I get a message on Ravelry from someone who's like, hey, I have some you can have. And I was like, thank you, but I already found some. So that's okay though, it all worked out. I'm going to get it. I have a special project in mind for that. I don't want to spoil that yet, but I do have that yarn coming. And then I also got, oh my goodness, when I bought the Destination yarn, the Noir, I also had to buy a Clever Girl sticker. I have the enamel pin. I bought it at DFW Fiber Festival the same year that my mom bought the Solar System kit. So I have the enamel pin, but since I was buying the yarn anyway, they had the sticker and I had to have it. I think it's hilarious. I'll put a picture of it up here because I didn't remember to bring it over here with me, but it's my Clever Girl sticker. I'm going to find the perfect place to stick that soon. Actually, you know what I might do with it? My friend Jennifer has this magnetic stuff and you can put the sticker onto the magnet and it makes like a refrigerator magnet, but it saves the sticker. Like you can still peel the sticker off and actually use the sticker later if you want. She's been asking me, if I have any stickers that you want to make into magnets, let me know. I think that I need to let her know. So Jennifer, if you're watching this, I just thought of a sticker I have that I would like to make into a refrigerator magnet. She lives like down the block from me and I see her almost every day. We'll see if I remember to tell her or if she watches this in a week and is like, hey. We shall see how that goes. I also did get a few shawl pins. So one of the days that I wasn't doing anything while I was being lazy, I was scrolling through Facebook and Hot Springs Fiber Company was selling these adorable wooden shawl pins. And of course I had to have them, so I ordered several. So this one is the dragon one. And then I also ordered an owl and a Christmas tree that I don't have yet, but I will get them. And then I found a leaf. I ordered a leaf. And I ordered a couple more, but these are the ones I have with me to show. Oh, this one is cute. I think it said it was a rabbit, but it looks like an armadillo to me. Let's see if I can I'm calling it an armadillo. Sorry about the crinkly. I mean, look, does that not look like an armadillo head with a little armadillo tail? Whoops, let's get him the right way. There we go. I mean, that does not look like a rabbit to me. Rabbits have fluffy tails. That looks like a cute armadillo. So I had to have the armadillo, of course. So yeah, I bought several. I just got these fairly recently. But I know that there was like almost a fist fight over that dragon. I was really lucky to get one. It helps when you are personal friends with the shop owner. But I'm pretty sure Tracy's going to order some more because they were very, very popular. Not just with me, but with lots of people. And that brings me to sharing. So I've showed you all the fun things that I have got for me, and I have some fun things for you. So the first thing I want to do is announce the winner of the episode 20 giveaway. I am sharing a copy of my Happy and You Gnome It hat. I have a skein of Babu, which is 50% bamboo top, 25% alpaca, and 25% merino wool from the Fiber Lady. The kit, it will come with the bead needle, which I have dropped somewhere. Apparently, I'll have to go find that. I have a bead needle for you. It did come in the mail. And then I have a couple of stitch markers. These are just plain light bulb stitch markers. I may look around and see if I can find you more fun stitch markers. And then the beads to go in the hat. And the winner of this shareable item is William Henshaw 5338. So congratulations, William. It's kind of funny because he was one of my test knitters. I think he even mentions in his comment that he already has the pattern because he test knit it. So I really hope he enjoyed it because now he can knit it again. And if you don't want to knit my hat again, William, you can knit whatever you want. That's the fun thing about winning yarn is once it leaves my hands and arrives in yours, you can do whatever you want with it. Re-gift it, knit with it, crochet with it, insulate your house for the winter with it, whatever you want to do. So congratulations, William. Thank you so much for watching my show, for testing my hat, for knitting my things. I really appreciate you very much. And I also want to show you what we will be sharing for episode 21. So I have a box of goodies for you here. We'll go through the box and see what all's inside it. So first off, I will be giving away 2 50-gram skeins of DMC denim. I believe this is 100% cotton yarn. I bought this at Sheep at the Wheel in Georgetown, and I don't think that shop is open anymore. I would have to look. But it was when I was a brand new knitter and I had this was probably in 2016, 2017. And I remember going in the shop with my kids and trying to pick out something because I wanted to buy something, and this is what I wound up with because they weren't bad. My children were never very bad children or anything, but there were 4 little boys in a yarn shop. They were bored, and after a few minutes of sitting on the couch, they were not going to last much longer. So I just kind of picked something randomly. I have had this in my stash ever since. I love it. This rich blue I think is beautiful. I just don't know what to do with it. And so I'm hoping maybe I have a viewer who would like to give this yarn a good home and have an idea of what they might like to do with it. So we've got 2 skeins of that. I have one of the shawl pins from Hot Springs Fiber Company. This is the alpaca. A sticker. I have one of those needle keepers that I am so in love with. And I have a set of sewing and knitting related stitch markers because I also have 2 more Kathleen Fuller Amish romance novels to give away. Both of these were donated by Kathleen Fuller and signed by the author, I think. Yep, she signed it right there. I have read both of these books. They are both really good. The Amish Schoolroom, that Kathleen Fuller's story, so they're like multiple novellas. There's like 3 stories in each one by 3 different authors. So there's an Amy Clipston story, a Kathleen Fuller story, and a Shelley Shepherd Gray story. This Kathleen Fuller's story in this book was one of my very favorite. It absolutely had me cracking up. I kind of felt like it was if Sheldon Cooper were Amish and fell in love. Like, I'm not sure that's the best exact rendition, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. So y'all are gonna enjoy these books. They are, I mean, I enjoyed them a lot, and I am excited to share them with you. And no, I did not read your copies. I actually went out and bought my own. I didn't read Kathleen's ones that she donated. So your bindings are nice and unbound, and they still have I guess they still have a new book smell. I didn't sniff them. Oh yeah, they still have a new book smell. Ooh, I love to smell books, you guys. It's like the best smell in the world. So this box of goodies will be headed to a winner for episode. I'll announce the winner for this in episode 22. So if this is something you would like to win, comment down below. You can tell me about your own kinds of quirks, or tell me anything you want. If you could tell me things you'd like to hear in my channel, or things you plan to knit, or anything you want to tell me, just comment down below. If you comment, you will be entered to win the prize, and I will get that out to you. Other announcements. So I did mention that I will be teaching a class in Arkansas at Hot Springs Fiber Company on the Kærlig mitts. We will not be doing the exact way the pattern's written, because the pattern is fingering weight, but I will be showing you how to modify it with worsted weight yarn. I will also be teaching a class that same weekend on my own hat, the Happy and You Gnome It hat. So this class, the kits will be available through Hot Springs Fiber Company. They'll have the yarn, the needle, the beads, and everything you need. And that will also be a 2-day class, February 23rd through 24th. So if you are able to make it out to Hot Springs, Arkansas that weekend, and you would like to take the class, you can sign up on Tracy's website, hotspringsfiberco.com. And if you are really Johnny on the spot, I am actually going to be in Hot Springs at Hot Springs Fiber Company. What will for you be tomorrow, actually, February 2nd, I believe. I'm driving Thursday, and I'm staying Friday and Saturday and coming home Saturday night. And the reason for this impromptu visit is because Natalie of Nitty Natty is going to be visiting Hot Springs Fiber Company for a sit and stitch on Friday from 3 to 6. And I have my favorite yarn shop and my favorite YouTuber. You know I'm not about to miss that. So I will be on my way to have all the fun with Nitty Natty at Hot Springs Fiber Company on Friday. It is a completely free event, so if you are in Hot Springs and free to stop by the shop and meet Natalie, I'm sure she would love to meet you. I will be there if you're interested in meeting me, although most of you folks that are from Hot Springs, y'all have met me a few times. I'm not nearly as exciting as Natalie is, but I'm excited to see her. I've actually gotten to meet her twice, and both times it's been a delight. Her YouTube channel called Love and Stitches. If you don't watch it, then you definitely need to. She travels all over the United States in her like an RV van with her husband and her dog, and visits yarn shops everywhere. Like, I can't imagine how anybody doesn't know her YouTube channel, because it's one of my very favorites. I watch pretty much everything she puts out. So I'm excited about that, and so hopefully I'll get to see you this weekend. The only other thing I want to make sure I do is I have the sweetest pen pal. She has started to email me. She watches all of my episodes. She is a great encouragement, and I want to say a special hello to Shannon's Life 9010. So hello, Shannon. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope that your knitting is going well. She's shared some of her work with me through email, and I love getting to see what everybody is doing and working on. I like to watch everybody on Instagram, but my channel email is, I don't know, it's more fun because it's like a conversation instead of an announcement, I guess. So it just feels more fun when people send me emails. I try to answer them all. So far, that hasn't been a problem, but it has been so much fun. And that is all I have to show for today. I'm gonna take a little drink of my Diet Coke. I feel like I've been talking 90 miles an hour for the last half hour. Oh, maybe I just need some water. My kids give me a hard time all the time because I really do drink a inappropriate amount of Diet Coke. I apologize in advance. But I drink a fair bit of water too. I kind of go back and forth. I'll drink a cup full of Diet Coke and then one of water and then Diet Coke and then water. Yeah, it's my vice. I guess we all have to have a thing we don't, we don't want everyone to know how much we really drink, but we do. That's me and my Diet Coke. I can remember when one of my boys was little, he was telling somebody I was cranky and I just needed a drink, and they just gave me the funniest look. I was like, he's talking about my Diet Coke, I promise. But yeah, anyway, I hope you have had a great day. I hope January went well and you knit lots of things or crocheted lots of things and made lots of things. I hope that you were able to show love to other people and that you are spending your time doing the best you can to make life beautiful for yourself and those around you. We are going to close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for all of the many blessings that you shower on me and my family. Thank you that we were warm during the cold snaps, that we did not lose power. Thank you for my grandmother who has been having some health issues. I am so very grateful that she is doing better, Lord. I appreciate my church and my family so very much, and all the opportunities that I have to create and to express myself in this wonderful world that you created for us to enjoy. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.